Cannabis and 1 million pills of the amphetamine-like stimulant Captagon were set on fire on Wednesday in Damascus. Syria's new government forces raided warehouses in the former security zone of former Syrian President Bashar Assad's intelligence forces and confiscated the drugs. Since the fall of Assad, industrial-scale manufacturing facilities of Captagon have been uncovered around the country, which experts say fed a $10 billion annual global trade in the highly addictive drug. Syria's nearly 14-year-old civil war fragmented the country, crumbled the economy and created fertile ground for the production of Captagon. Militias, warlords, and the Assad government transformed the production of the drug from a small-scale operation run by criminal groups into a billion-dollar industrial revenue stream. Syrian rebel forces led by HTS, Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, have seized large stockpiles of Captagon pills and other drugs in several military bases and other warehouses in Damascus and its countryside.
هذا الحشيش بيفرطوه بالدخان يعني بالدخان وهذا بيبلعوه بلا.
İçinde şey Captagon var.
حطم بيدك. أهم شيء التهريب إنه أفتح بن حطي قلب حبوب. نفس الكف الأبيض هنا.
قامت وحداتنا في البحث عن مستودعات المخدرات ووجدت أحد المستودعات في المربع الأمني في كفر سوسة.
After the fall of the Assad regime, the Kremlin became very concerned about its S-400 systems, which could fall into the hands of the new government. Even after December the 8th, Moscow began an urgent evacuation of its S-300 and S-400 systems, Forbes reports. The withdrawal of these installations from Syria marked the end of an era in which the Kremlin played a major role in Syria's disputed airspace. Journalists from the Wall Street Journal report that the Kremlin has delivered all of its S-300 and S-400 systems from Syria to eastern Libya via cargo planes. Since December the 8th, maintaining these installations on Syrian territory no longer meets the Kremlin's strategic interests. Russian allied warlord Khalifa Haftar would doubtlessly welcome the deployment of these strategic air defense systems as a counterbalance against his Turkish-backed rival, the UN-recognized government in Tripoli, which unsurprisingly opposes Russia reinforcing its bases in the divided country. Haftar fought that government in 2019 to 2020 when his forces besieged and tried to seize the capital, only to be routed by a counter-offensive supported by Turkish drones. The conflict has remained stalemated ever since. Rumors abound in 2020 that Russia deployed S-400s or S-300s to eastern Libya, which, as noted at the time, could have helped solidify that stalemate. Haftar has long been obsessed with having Russian air defenses deployed in the areas he controls to avoid a repeat of that year's humiliating rout. Retaining S-400s in Syria no longer serves Russia's strategic interests since the systems became more exposed following the takeover of the country, including Latakia, by anti-Assad armed groups. The removal of S-400 missile defense systems from their positions at the Khmeimim air base appears to be the first clear sign that preparations are underway for the base's full evacuation, wrote analyst Anton Mardasov in AI Monitor. However, by December the 8th, the continued presence of these expensive systems had already become irrelevant when the opposition forces entered the town of Jableh, from where they could effectively shell the entire base. Russia first relocated its Su aircraft to the Khmeimim air base in Syria in 2015. Sometime later, The first S-400 missile systems appeared at the same airbase to strengthen Russia's presence in the skies back in 2017. Military writer Tom Cooper stated that the Alawite Mountains are located near Khmeimim, which severely limit the radar's operations. The fighters of the 80th Separate Airborne Assault Galician Brigade of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, who are fighting in the Kursk region, have not yet captured any DPRK soldiers. Senior officer of the Communications Department, Petra Gaidaschuk, spoke about this on the air of the telethon. According to him, units whose combat tactics differ from others are appearing in the brigade's area of responsibility, but they cannot yet confirm that they are specifically Koreans. These servicemen simply were not captured by us, and there are no documents that would indicate that these are servicemen from North Korea. At the same time, he said that several servicemen from one of the Russian motorized rifle brigades who were undergoing joint training with North Korean soldiers was recently captured. They saw Koreans, trained together with Koreans. At the point where the training took place, there were 830 servicemen from North Korea with them. They said that they were not confusing anything and that these were not some specific peoples from the Russian Federation who had an Asian appearance, Gaidaschuk emphasized. The prisoners also said that foreign soldiers are better fed and provided with weapons and ammunition, and the task of the North Korean military, as these prisoners say, is to storm our positions. And the Russian units go to the so-called defense to consolidate the positions that the Koreans are storming. But it often happens that the Koreans, according to the prisoners, fail to successfully storm our positions and all their plans are destroyed. Recall President Volodymyr Zelenski reported that North Korean troops have already lost more than 3,000 of their soldiers in Kursk region. He warned that Pyongyang could send new troops and equipment to the territory of the Russian Federation. Such information was also received from South Korean intelligence. It was noted that it could be about the supply of unmanned aerial vehicles. The Ukrainian Center for Countering Disinformation believes that North Korean soldiers are not adapted to the conditions of modern warfare. For example, some of them fight off drones with machine guns and their hands. According to Andrei Kovalenko, head of the Center for Countering Disinformation under the National Security and Defense Council, the North Koreans are not adapted to the conditions of modern warfare. They fight off kamikaze drones with machine guns and their hands. One such case was recorded by Ukrainian drones. During one of the attacks, an FPV drone hunted a DPRK soldier. He fought off the drone with explosives with his machine gun for several minutes without even opening fire, and then decided to catch it with his own hands. This ended with just retribution for the North Korean for participating in a criminal war.